Hi everybody, John Curtin here from QVScriptor. So in this clip we'll be reviewing the QVScriptor 2013 tutorial. The tutorial can be picked up from our product itself, so if you go to the File menu and the Support tab, you will find a link to all our documentation from there. The aim of this video is not to replace the tutorial document. There's more definitions and descriptions in the tutorial documentation, so just to give you a visual representation of the tutorial document. The objectives is to take you through the administration, create your first project, create the sub-schema so that we can elaborate a little bit on script instancing, create the first schema and then the first library transformations, generate an application, load an ETL script, regenerate an application, and then deploy the application where it will then be accessible to other users. This clip will be an overview, so not too many details. We'll be launching a lot of new videos that will give a lot more detail and specific information related to QVD generators, ETL, script object libraries, expressions, and so forth. Those will be published very soon. So if you have any comments or questions, you can reach us at support@qvscriptor.com, or you can just leave us some notes on our forum on our website. So without further ado, let's go to the product. So when you open QVScriptor for the first time, you get a couple of pop-ups from the license. It will say that it has expired, but you can see that the trial version amount of days that you still have left will show. Just click the continue and OK, and then the product will open. So it'll open in the local file tab in your connections repository, and from here you can access any local development, so meaning that it will be saved on your user profile. So you can see here it's coming to C users, John Paul Curtin app data. So all your information will be saved within a QSPROJ file. So it's file based. You're not connected to a repository or a database. For those, you have the option to do a remote connection using the WCF, so the Windows Communication Foundation connection, which runs as a service, or directly to a database. So I'll just open up the demo project quickly to give you an overview. If you click on demo project over there, it will automatically put the password, which is always QVScriptor, all small characters, until you go and change it. So I'm logged in as the administrator, and the password is QVScriptor. So I go OK, and it will open up the product. And as you can see, we are in the demo project, and from here you can review the demo at any stage. So we're going to be rebuilding the majority of this demo within this clip. So let's go and create a new clean project. So we'll go to the connection wizard, and from here take the create a new project file. We'll call it tutorial clip. And it will automatically default to that new tutorial clip project file that I have created. And as I said, QVScriptor, all small characters, is the password for the administrator that has been set up. So what it will do is open up your new project. You can see everything is clear. It will automatically create a project for you, and you have no deployment targets. So let's go set it up. I just want to point out that in the support section you have some additional documentation. You have an installation guide, user guide, administration guide, and the tutorial, which we'll be working through today. The user guide is a much better elaborated version of the tutorial. Administration guide is an elaborated document around the administration within the product. So let's go to the administration section. So from here you can manage all your users. So I'll just have it sorted by type, and I can see that my groups, I have administrator groups and users groups, and then I have at the moment only administrator user. So if I open up, that's the one I'm logged in with at the moment, and I can see here is part of the administrator group. Use the user guide for a better understanding of how to set these up. For the moment, we're just going to create a project deployment target called QA. And when you're working locally, you have to actually go and tell the software where to go and save the applications that you will be pushing into that folder. So what I'm going to do is to create that folder first. What I'm going to do is to put it in my program files, my C program files 86, QVScriptor 86 directory. So I'm just going to create a new folder here and call that folder QA. This is for my deployment, so all my final applications will then be published to my QA folder. And what I'll do is create another one, which is my production folder. And I'll use the same string, but I'll just create the production folder in there. So what you can do is just copy this whole string and paste it in there. You can test your target, and if you get this successfully completed, you're good to go. And forgot to put that one, so we'll just call that one QA. We can test the target, and again we're good to go. So the deployment folders are folders where your actual projects will be deployed in. So all your project files will be structured to sit under these folders. So what we'll do is to give an example of some deployment folders. So if you're doing some projects for finance, for instance, all finance projects will be created under there. If you have, for instance, CRM projects, you just put a project file for CRM. In this case, we're going to do training. So what we'll do is to put a training folder over there. Just make sure you click outside the field first before you save or exit. Otherwise the field is still alive and it won't save it. So what we can do now is save it, and we can exit from here. That will take us back to the product, the schema interface. So let's close the schema for now. What you can do is right click and rename the default name that it will give to your workspace. Just rename it to workspace. So first we're going to create some connections. So at the moment you don't actually have any connections to any databases set up yet. So when you right click connections, you can go into the edit connections section. With the installation comes a SQLite database source. So from here you can take the ODBC connection, click on the drop down and select the Northwind SQLite connection from there. You don't need to put a username password, you can just test your connection. Okay, that's fine, and from here you can change it to Northwind. What we'll do is change the ODBC connection to a 32-bit. If you are running 64-bit drivers to databases, we have a 64-bit version of the client available for setting up those drivers and managing those drivers. So we'll save it from here. Now we have a connection, and what we'll do next is to rename the project to be tutorial. The tutorial project, but first what we'll do is to create a new folder. You can right click to rename the folder, or you can hit the F2 button. So we'll call this the demo. Folder, and what we'll do is drag the tutorial project into that one. It might duplicate, so just hit the F5, the refresh button, and there's your project now structured under your demo tutorial. So what we'll do, as well as take the properties of this project, as you can see, the deployment folder at the moment is null. So what we want to do, we've created these deployment folders. We now want to actually have this project lying under our training folder. So, okay. So when we click on schemas, there's already one schema in there. So hit the F2 button and call this total schema. And what you have now is a clean empty schema. So what we're going to do is to bring some script objects in there. First, what we're going to do is load some objects from our database. So this is the connection that we just set up. I'll pick the Northwind connection, and from here, whenever you connect to a database, it will bring through all your various tables and views. If you have views set up on the database, it will bring those through as well. So what we want to do is to create a schema, which is a data schema. So what we'll use is our tables in the Northwind database, and what we'll do is start dragging those in. So let's bring in customers, let's bring in orders, let's bring in order details, products, categories, suppliers, and employees. So you can see when you drag it in, QVScriptor will automatically make some connections or associations between your different tables. And what this means is that you have, in the tables you have fields, and when those fields are named exactly the same, then QVScriptor will automatically connect the fields. And as you can see, it's upper and lower case is also defined, so it will recognize a field with a specific uppercase and lowercase name. So what we're going to do is to delete some connections. From here, right click and delete. It will say that it will permanently delete this. We'll touch on this a little bit later. This is around the instancing of your script, so let's say yes to that. Between orders and employees, we're using the employee ID. ClickView likes a one-to-one relationship, so it's good to always only have one connection between your different tables. So in this case, where we have two connections between the tables, we actually only want to use the product ID, not the unit price. So we'll delete that association. And then you can see we have the suppliers and the categories, which have one association between them, or one connector between them. Let's quickly have a look here. So if you have deleted a connector that you don't wish to be deleted, what you can do is to create that connector again. So when the little pointer goes red, click, drag it over to the field that you want it to connect to, and leave it. If you connect the connector to fields with different names, your starting connector, your starting table field name will replace the ending table field name by default.